Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the League of Creative Rebels. I'm here with Rosemary Richings. She is a website and blog content writer, copywriter, editor, and content strategist for e-commerce and retail businesses with a community involvement focused mission statement. So Rosemary started her business in the summer of 2014, and ever since she has worked with clients like Yellow Pages and eBay and been featured on sites such as Buffer and Search Engine Journal. Hi, Rosemary.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good.
Good. I'm going to give you a chance here to tell us a little bit about yourself. So go ahead.
All right. Okay. So it's breaking up a little bit, so I hope you can hear me. But yeah. So I'm a programmer, and so I primarily work with small business owners and really busy marketing professionals who aren't nearly as familiar with the web, but kind of realize it's necessary. And I mostly work with a lot of clients that need quite a bit of hand-holding to get their content out there. And so that's mostly how I've differentiated myself, really. And that's really what people have found really helpful about my approach to things, I'd say.
That's awesome. Just a one-on-one personal touch to it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great. That's so helpful. Okay, so how do you get online? How do you advertise what you do? How do you help people find you?
Well, before I started my business, I had a blog, and the blog started more as just a personal hobby thing, and then it started to evolve a bit, and it started to be more about helping people with their businesses and their online presence, and that's and also I am very, very active on social media, so that's helped, and I've been featured in some websites. So really that's what's helped my business a lot.
That's great. Sometimes it's really hard to get those call outs on those big businesses, but you've done really well for yourself. Yellow Pages, eBay, those are huge. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, as I always say, it really helps to start small and then go from there. A lot of the major brands I've worked with, I started with the small startup projects, and then they would see that, and then they would be like, yeah, great, do that for us. So really, I think that's my advice for the listeners as well, which is just start small and go from there.
That's awesome. That's great advice too. Some people, they really want to get out and get that, name brand business, but they forget that there's steps to it. So that's a really good reminder. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your company goals now?
Well, I am currently in the process of launching a podcast.
Nice.
I have just got my first few guests, which is really exciting. And I've been working with a business coach because I'm really trying to take an approach that is more introvert friendly. I'm an introvert myself, and for so long I've been feeling like I have to put myself out there in a much more extrovert way, and really it's about personally growing in that way, and really reaching out to more businesses through my grow, and to really celebrate that introvert side of my business.
Yeah, that's great. I have the same issues. I'm not necessarily an introvert, I don't think, but I'm definitely socially awkward. So I feel like I'm introverted that way. Okay, so
Yeah, it's
no, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah, it's funny because people think that to go into business you have to be like sort of quieter presence, and that works.
I think we had a little connection problem there. I'm sorry. People think what?
Yeah, people think that you have to be this bigger personality and etc. to really make it work in business, but I think that's necessarily true. I mean, people find that very comfortable as well to deal with like a more relaxed. All right.
No, I absolutely agree. Sometimes I think those personalities get too over the top and they almost scare you away versus welcoming you in.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so during your content writing and your copywriting, I'm sure there's some times it's really stressful and things come up and they get really frustrating dealing with clients or juggling things around. How do you deal with those frustrations and those stresses?
Well, really, just the act of getting on the phone with someone can make a really big difference. Because just like with any writing, I find everyone has their personal preferences and everyone has their own ideas of what's good and what's bad and etc. So really, I find the most important thing is just to not see it as a personal thing and be willing to talk it over and be like, well, what looks good to you? What's your idea of a good brand? What's your idea of a good website? And just to be willing to get on the phone with people and hear them out. And that makes a huge difference.
Oh, I completely agree. And you mentioned, I mean, the phone is a huge thing. I think a lot of times, especially now, it's just easier to send out an email or a text or catch them on social media, but to really get on the phone with them and talk to them and hear, actually hear what they're wanting and hear the excitement or the personality behind it helps so much.
Yeah, because there's only so much you can get through an email. There's only so much you can get through a text message, but really people feel so much more reassured if you're willing to like make that effort to have that conversation.
Right. It makes you a person. It makes them a person, I think. It's so much better, even for what I do, just to actually hear them. And I mean, I misconstrue words all the time. People are saying, I'm like, oh, that's what you meant. So it's easier to have a conversation.
Yeah, for sure. It's solved so many of the day-to-day issues that have come up, and I think people really need it because too many. I don't know if that's the case for your clients, but too many of my clients have had bad experiences with some of the freelancers they've worked with, so they just need that reassurance that spending that money is worthwhile.
Right, and there's a real person behind
going somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree completely. I think it's the same across all of our industries.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have one piece of advice that you can give somebody just starting out in your industry, what would it be?
Well, don't be afraid of approaching people.
That's
Don't be
great
afraid
advice.
of, yeah. Don't be afraid of approaching people even if they seem like powerful CEOs and you're like, oh, well, they never see me as valuable. Because chances are they do. I mean, I've worked with some of those people, and they need creatives because they're either too busy or they don't know that world as well. Mm-hmm. So really just my advice is don't let that little bit of fear stop you.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
That's really great advice. I find myself all the time, I'm like, no, they wouldn't work with me. And then I find out they've, hired somebody that was my competitor. And I'm like, dang it, if I would just tried. That's great. Okay, so what do you enjoy most about what you do? What is like the thing?
Well, I like helping people that are really new to the online world. I think that there's a lot of really brilliant businesses out there, and then they've heard the web is a really great thing. And for me, it's about community. For me, it's about just using that to really market in a more genuine way. And that's really what I've found value in.
That's great. Okay, walk us through like your day, what does your work day look like?
Well, I start at around 9, between 9 and 10 usually, and then my boyfriend and I have some breakfast, and then have some coffee, and then from there I start the day and start more of the simple tasks, more of the things that I can do when I'm just processing my caffeine.
Right.
Like things like automating social media posts for the week, or answering a client's question, or etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll spend the morning doing that, and then I'll take a quiet lunch break. And then from there, I'll dive into the more complex projects, like whatever client projects I need to do, or if it's a quieter period, I'll go into maybe side projects like my podcast, or future blog posts, or guest blogging. And then from there, I'll go until around early evening, and then I'll have a cutoff point, and my boyfriend and I will have dinner, and then we'll just watch movies and call it a day.
That's perfect. I like it.
Yeah.
Do you use any, you mentioned you do social media automation. Do you use any specific systems or platforms that you would recommend to somebody?
Well, Zapier has been huge for me. I don't like doing all the really boring admin stuff.
Yeah,
so it's been huge for email. It's been like for all the little like following up with people and being like, how can I reach you? And things like that. And all the little reminder emails and all the chasing people down for invoice stuff.
Right.
And repurposing on social media, because people always say, oh, well, you're on social media all the time, but really it's an illusion of being on social media all the time rather than a reality. So I use it for that as well. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
you always have to be there. It's just you can't always be there because you actually have to work too, and you have to. Yeah, that's hard.
And also, I use Buffer and CoSchedule for promoting more things I'm reading over Buffer, and CoSchedule is more for blog posts and important promotions and stuff because it goes out multiple times.
Right, that's good. Awesome. Okay, is there a piece of entrepreneurial advice or a quote that you hear that you just kind of drives you crazy and you just don't agree with it? Is there anything that people say and you're like, no, that's not right?
Well, I don't like the conventionally pushy approach. I don't like all the like, you must follow up after this amount of time and things like that, because people are busy. And yes, you do need to follow up, but I think it's far better just to accept the fact that if they need you for things, they will follow up. But I think it's better to rephrase that as following up if they straight up say, I want you to follow up within this amount of time, rather than pushing a project or an idea on them.
Right. And sometimes it takes people a little while to process it, and then they can have an answer for you. At least I find.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so if you could travel back in time to yourself, and you only had about 15 minutes to give yourself some sort of advice in the very, very beginning of when you started your business, what would you say? What would you tell yourself?
Well, I would say focus. I would say just like sit down and don't just pitch everyone. Just focus and stick to one person and one value system and then go from there. I mean, I have that system now, but in the beginning, I think it was just too tempting to just take anything that came my way.
Right. And I bounce around. I don't know if you do that, but like I have this shiny, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you want to be when you grow up in 5 years from now? What do you want your business to be?
Well, I want to make it more of a collaborative thing, really, to like for that podcast that isn't quite out there yet, through things like that, and also through collaborating with other creatives and just working with more businesses and having more resources for helping them grow as well. So all I know is, yeah, it will be something relating to that.
That's great. Those goals are always super good to have. You mentioned your podcast a couple of times. Do you have a launch date for that yet?
June so far.
Nice.
But I am really just accepting guests right now. So a lot depends on how things go with that, but I'm definitely aiming for June.
That's great. It seems like it's far away, but then it just sneaks up on you. So I understand how much time crunch it actually feels for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're on to the threes. Are you ready for some 3 questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Thoughtful. Thoughtful and introverted and habitually writerly. I know that's
I like
2
it.
words.
No, I'll take it. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so the next one. You are transported to a desert island. You can take 3 things. Just 3 things. No people, just things. What would you take?
I would take some of my writing books because I've got quite a collection. I would take my laptop since there's a lot of good music on there.
For sure.
And ideally Wi-Fi. That's in any ways doable.
Yeah, I like it. I never thought about Wi-Fi. You're right. That's something I would absolutely need. My luck, I'd take the laptop and not have anything to use with. Okay, so this was not a 3 one, but I'm always curious. You're going to write a book about yourself. What do you title it?
A journey into awkward introversion.
That sounds like my book.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's great. Okay, 3 places in the world that you would like to go.
Morocco.
I like it.
I've been doing a lot of research on that one. I'd like to explore Sweden more. I went to Sweden last year, but it was just to Stockholm and fell in love with it and thought it was awesome.
When did you go? It seems so cold there.
I went during the spring, so it wasn't too bad.
It's probably beautiful.
Southern France.
Nice. Those are great.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one. 3 mobile apps that you can't live without. It makes your job more efficient.
Well, the Anchor app, which is the one I'm going to use for my podcast.
Oh, nice.
So that's a definite. My Buffer app, since I'll sometimes be reading things on my phone and won't necessarily be in front of my laptop. And the podcast app, because that's the only way I can listen.
Right. I love the podcast app. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Those are great. I didn't think of the Anchor app. That's something I gotta look into.
Yeah, it's much more simple way to do it.
Yeah. I've been thinking of tossing around a podcast idea, and I've been not researching like I should, so that's a great reminder. I need to do that. Okay, rapid fire. Are you ready?
Yep.
These are your favorites. You get basically one word to answer them. Ready? Favorite color?
Purple.
Song?
Modern Girls and Old-Fashioned Men.
Okay, I like
a
that.
Regina Spektor one.
I like it. I love Regina Spektor. Okay, sorry. That was exciting for me. Food?
Chicken Caesar salad.
Wow, very specific. I like it. Activity?
Running.
Oh, nice. Favorite book?
It's tough one. Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath.
Oh, I haven't read that one. I need to read it.
It's a heavy read, but it's a good one.
It's a good one. Okay, I'll have to check it out. Favorite movie?
I'd have to say probably Pulp Fiction.
Wow, that surprises me. Okay, favorite city?
Stockholm.
We just covered that. Yeah, I should guess that one. Okay,
Yeah.
favorite store? Where do you like to shop?
I like a lot of the coffee shops in my area. So there's a local one called Empire Espresso I go to.
Nice, I love coffee shops. They're the best.
Yeah.
Okay, final question. You ready? How do you want people to remember you and your company when they finish this whole podcast here, this whole interview? How do you want them to remember you? Your final blurb.
That's a good one. I guess that whole patient one-on-one approach. I really pride myself on that because, like, I'm used to dealing with really stressed out, busy people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that really makes a big difference with business owners, especially.
That's great. One-on-one, the personal contact is huge. That's a wonderful way to be remembered. That was awesome. Okay, well that was it. You did an amazing job. I really appreciate you doing this interview with me.
Yeah.
Everybody, this is Rosemary Richings, and she was absolutely fabulous in this interview. Twitter, she is found on Twitter. She said that is her favorite. What is your handle again?
At Rosie May R.
At Rosie
underscore R.
At Rosie May
At Rosie May
R.
underscore R.
Okay, at Rosie May underscore R. Please, please, please check her out. She's fabulous. She also has a website. I will put all these links in the bottom in the footnotes here. So that is the end of this interview. Thank you guys for tuning in.